What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Insurance Isn't Boring. I'm your host, Elijah, joined as always by my running buddy, partner in crime, Xander Wally. We have an incredible guest to introduce you guys to today. But if you're on social media at all or you're in the insurance game, you've got to be living under a rock if you've not heard of this guy. His name's Ryan Miller. Just to give him some proper street cred and edification, just to give you guys the caliber of the agent that this guy is. He got into the business and partnered with Symmetry back in 2015. Came here unlicensed, just to put that into perspective. He came to his first event also without his license. Got his license in April 2015. The very next year, okay, 2015, his team did $660,000 in premium, which is pretty impressive for your first full year in the business. Fast forward just 1 year, they did a casual 4.2 million in 2016. So what is that? Almost a 10x. Fast forward to this past year, $23 million in annual premium with an army of over 1,000 agents behind him, protecting families, recruiting people, kicking tail. He won the Blue Jacket Award in 2016, which, if you don't know what that means you're the agency owner who had the most growth year over year growth. Over 40 agency owners on his team, over 14 key leaders. He's a legacy advisory board member, senior managing partner.
Senior.
Okay. I Senior partner, equity partner with the company, a dad, husband, mentor. Welcome to the show, Ryan. Super, super grateful to have you, man, and get the chance to pick your brain. But how's your week going so far, buddy?
Man, I am so grateful. I'm grateful for you guys spreading the knowledge and availability of just trying to impact at least one person on the other side of this. I love your guys' heart. I've watched several episodes. I love the impact that you're bringing out to people, and I'm just so grateful that you thought of me. And I don't take this lightly because we get an opportunity to possibly change one person's life. So thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for you too.
Dude, it's mutual. It's mutual. Xander and I started this beginning of this year, actually, with the purpose of just kind of giving people a peek behind the curtain of this is what it's like to be an insurance agent. And we want, because from the outside looking in, it can seem like a pretty boring industry, but it's anything but, especially when you're partnered with the right company and you're focused on the right things. We're about impact, and you're somebody who is multiplying that impact. So super stoked to have you, man. Well, Xander, why don't you kick it off, man? Why don't you kick off the interview and we can kind of go from there, maybe dig into Ryan's story and how the heck he ended up here doing over
Yeah.
$20 million in sales a year.
No, absolutely. And I mean, we were talking a little bit kind of off camera before this. One of the things that I think is really cool is, in Symmetry, there's two paths, right? You can either just be a solo producer or you can build an agency. And one of the things that I admire a lot about your agency is how many high caliber producers you have while still having a very large team. Because I feel like that can be an interesting culture to create, right? A lot of people are focused solely on one thing. Hey, I'm going to go recruit an army. We can help more families doing that. But then you also have people who are like, I don't necessarily want to be a leader. I want to lead myself and I want to have a high impact kind of on my own pen. And so I'm really curious what that process looked like. I think you said you have 7 people who are direct to you, and that has created an army of 1,000. So just really curious to understand how you've thought about that and how you've grown that. How intentional was that? Was some of it, hey, I want to hear it all.
All right, I feel like where do we want to start? It's like I could definitely jump into that. You want to listen? It's interesting about insurance because you talked about it in the very beginning about like what does it look from the outside in? And I don't think anyone's generally coming into the insurance industry because they came in on a winning streak. I don't think people walked into insurance and said, "Hey, I'm a multimillionaire. You know what? Let me jump into insurance." Because the
Yeah.
idea in itself about for me was, "Oh, I have to be in a shirt and tie and knock on doors for a living." I actually had no interest in that whatsoever. And it's interesting because the environment was so important to me because I didn't have this type of environment culturally. I didn't have this type of environment in my previous industry, which was
Mm,
corporate America. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that's listening to this right now that's been in that the eat your own mentality where guess what? The money was great, the environment was unbelievably terrible. And I need to find the right place with the right people with the right kind of income because to me there's actually a wrong kind of money.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I could jump in right into that, but I really feel like even before that, it's important to talk about how did
Where
it
you came
actually all
from.
started? How did it
Yeah.
started?
Yeah.
Because for me, because it's interesting for me, 19 years in corporate America. My family, by the way, I have 3 brothers. They're all in the industry, all in the same company. 2 older, 1 younger. And but as a family, my mom, my dad, Yonkers and Queens, New York. And this idea growing up, because we came from a very humbled family, like school shopping was Goodwill, man, some really cool things there. My dad always had money on the table, but I never got a chance to really see my dad growing up because he was always working, right?
Mm,
The stay at home mom, man, my mom, amazing. Making a whole loaf of grilled cheeses and ringing the bell for all 4 of us. If you ever got all 4 of us at pizza, because pizza was something to my soul and heart. I love it. And guess what? You talk about this so important about family. Well, growing up, I realized, the only time we really had all of us together is when we were working in corporate America. So the relationship was a little different because the only time we actually
mm,
saw each other outside of work was family pizza night. Every Saturday, my dad had this thing about making custom pizza. But my
mm,
mom didn't care about pizza. She cared about watching all of us be together because my mom spent a lifetime keeping our family together. And we literally worked in this corporate America job every 2 years. Somebody hired our family. We went over and helped build somebody else's dream. Does that sound familiar to any of you listening?
mhm,
Where you've actually helped build people's dreams. And at one point, we got into a spot where I wanted more for our family. And even though we worked in one location, we decided, you know what? Time to go own our own franchise. Man, what I didn't realize as soon as that happened, my entire family split up. We didn't even have the work relationship.
mm,
We split all over the country. Now, I got to ask your listeners, has there ever been a time in your life where there's something that just happened, whether it's something with family, something like a financial or some kind of relational, something in the family, something that made you just stop, that made you reflect, that made you sit there and go, what the am I doing with my life? I can't be the only one that's ever experienced that. And I felt literally in corporate America, I was sleepwalking through life. We're all split up. We all went all over the country. My mom, my dad owned a franchise out in Boston. My brother Ben went to Jacksonville. My brother Dan, Orlando. My brother Carl ended up in Dallas. My mom and dad went to visit my brother Carl. I'm in Fresno with a 30,000 square foot building. And as my dad and my mom, they were together, came in from dinner, my dad tripped and fell. And when he tripped and fell, he fell on the little edge of the sidewalk. And my brother texts us, "Hey, dad fell." And I'm like, "Carl, I'm busy. What's going on?" 15 minutes later, "Hey, listen, I think I need to take dad to the hospital." 15 minutes later from that, he said, "You all need to get here right now." Now, there has to be somebody that's listening on the other side of this, that there's that moment in time that just everything that was moving so fast, things that you were sleepwalking through life, made you stop, made me just reflect on everything at that moment, going, oh my God, what's going on? And our entire family from all across the country came into Dallas. We get to the hospital, we go up the stairs and we look for my dad's room, and come to find out when he fell, he broke a rib and punctured his lung. My dad had COPD, emphysema, terrible lungs, but they were putting stuff in my dad's lungs where to try to seal it. The first time didn't seal, the second time sealed. My dad's short, well-dressed New Yorker, kind of walking around with the medical bags, and my brother Dan said, "All right, dad, you're good." My brother Dan flew back home because he had a job. Have you ever been in
mm,
that moment where a boss told you you can't go to a funeral, you can't do this, you can't do that, and your heart told you you need to be there, but guess what? Your finances and your boss, somebody else said no and why you can't? And my brother flew home. That night, we all stayed at my brother's house. My mom stayed in the hospital with my dad. And that night, my mom says, "You guys need to get to the hospital."
Mm,
We um we walk up the stairs, and it was the moment the nurses all in one moment looked right. Like, I don't know if it was the shift change or what, but you just had this feeling that it was that my time. It was my dad's time.
mm,
I walk in and my mom's rubbing my dad's forehead, talking about what kind of amazing father he's been, what kind of amazing husband he's been. And I watched my dad take his last breath.
mm,
We now we now ship my dad's body back to New York. We're scrambling because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and when my dad died, had 500 my mom had $500 to her name, both cars were in my dad's name, my mom didn't have any money, we're figuring out, "Oh my god, I guess every couple months she can move to one of our houses," and my mom's trying to now figure out what her new normal is, and we're shipping my dad's body, and we're in an industry that's going from brick and mortar to online, so we see this decrease in our industry anyway. Finances for our family was tight anyway. And now we got to figure out how we're going to support our mom. We get to the funeral, and I'm watching my brothers pour dirt on my dad's casket. With every scoop, regret. Like,
mm.
why didn't I answer my dad's phone that last year when he called? You know why? I was too busy, right? Why didn't I, when he asked me to go visit, guess what? Too busy for that too. And now I'm watching my mom be so strong at this funeral, and we're trying to figure out what my mom's going to do. So, do you know what I did? I made a decision right at that funeral. I was done. I was done building other people's dreams. I was done doing that without building my own family. And I made a promise that if I was ever going to be in that moment again with my mom, I am not going to have to that kind of decision. No, I'm going to make sure that I get to choose how that goes. I get to impact and give and have that time. So I actually closed a 19-year career
Wow.
from this one event. Franchise close. Drive back to Arizona. And my wife is going through about a month later, going through some of my dad's old things. And it was a garbage bag full of like just old papers. My parents weren't the most organized couple, right? And my wife comes out of the room and she's crying. And I'm like, "What are you crying for?" And she's like, "I think this is active." And I said, "What?" She said, "This accidental death policy." And
Mm,
it's literally this sheet of paper that says that if you spend $15 or some small number per 1,000, you get this coverage. And I'm like, it didn't even give a like it just had a policy number. It didn't even look real. We asked my mom about this, and my mom said, "No, your father never believed in insurance. Never had anything prepared." And my wife calls the insurance company, and we found out it was actually active.
wow.
Man, so now I'm sitting here going, "Well, how much could it possibly be?" We find out the amount. We never tell our mom because my mom thinks if anything, it's going to be a couple grand or a couple $100, like nothing, right? And you know, what my wife says to me, she goes, "Why don't we record this?" I go,
Mm,
"Record what?" Like us telling your mom this policy is active. I go, "Why do I want to do that?" My wife says, "You know what? You have lost everything from your dad. The last year of life when he asked you to visit and the phone calls and the voicemails and all the things your dad gave you like you lost everything. That this was the last legacy that your dad actually left your family." And I'm like, "All right, let's FaceTime this thing and let's see how this goes." And if you don't mind, I want I get a chance to actually share that with your audience. Because I think it's
please.
important to see what this feels like on the other side of what we do, which is so important. All right, here we go. You guys see that or no?
Not
Okay,
yet.
got and here we go.
Here we go. We're good. We're good.
All right, here we go. Hey, Mama.
Hi.
How are you? Good.
How are you doing? I'm sitting on the bed waiting for you to tell me whatever it is you've been having me in suspense about.
Oh, okay.
You're funny. You're in the kitchen. What's up?
Okay.
Oh, so I talked to the state, Massachusetts for state taxes. They have your account on hold right now so that it won't go into collections and they can't do any levies because we're waiting for them to look over the healthcare thing. So that's good. All of Dad's credit cards have now been closed out, zeroed out. I talked to the life insurance people today. They did approve the claim, but it's for an amount other than what we thought. So you're gonna get 3 deposits in 7 to 10 business days. You're gonna have one deposit for $500, one deposit for $500, and then the last deposit. Yeah, the last deposit is for $150,000. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No, that one piece of paper that Michelle found is gonna be and before it'll be real close to Dad's birthday bomb. It's $150,000.
So, yeah, I figured out the amount 2 days ago when I talked to you. I did the math in my head and realized he had did the coverage for 300 grand for family. Now, being he's over 70, they cut it in half. So it's 150,000. Plus the bank had an additional $1,000 of coverage that they gave for free. So you're getting 151.
Within 10 days, Mom, they're gonna deposit $151,000 in your account.
Oh my God, are you sure? I mean,
Oh,
Mm,
man.
wow.
Yeah.
Talk about an
Yeah, that
introduction to the industry. I mean,
Right.
well, and here you're talking about the industry. This like I'm sitting here going, I there's probably people that are listening to this that have got those insurance things from banks in the mail. And guess what we normally do, right? We just throw that away, not even thinking that they're important. And until this life event happened, I didn't even think it was important for me. And now here we are, we're back in Arizona. And here's what I remember I decided I am not going back in the same industry that led me to the safe spot that took away that time with my dad that last year of life. So what did I do? When I closed that business, do you think the debt didn't follow by closing? I was $100,000 in debt, $26 to my name, every credit card maxed out. I was on Craigslist picking up free stuff to sell. And my
Wow.
wife goes, I don't think we're going to make it. And I saw a Craigslist ad that said from Rob and Ed Puckett talking about protecting what's most important to a family. You know what? That meant something to me. And I actually reached out to them and they introduced me to Symmetry.
You were a Craigslist lead, dude. I had no idea.
25. I was a $25 ad, but you know what? What's crazy is that one ad through a devastation, because I think there's people out there that I know for sure that are going through one of these moments. And most people don't realize, I didn't realize that it was like my dad's last sacrifice, closing one door to open up something so much bigger because I made a decision. You know what? Maybe, dude, you know what? Insurance sounds, this is what I'm going to do. So they asked me to go to this national conference that was 1 week away. And I walk into the room. I go, honey, I'm going to go do this insurance thing. I'm going to Atlanta. She goes, we're $100,000 in debt. I said, what's another $1,000? Honey, we need something else. Like we need it. And I get to that national event, unlicensed. They get me in this course, which, oh my God, we'll talk about that. I got this national conference, and guess what? I didn't understand about product. I didn't understand. People were talking about all this money, and I'm sitting there going, my God, money. How about getting back to zero? I would love not having that $35 overcharge fee. I would love not having these small dishes. We were literally looking at a phone accessory and my wife and I arguing, should we get this? Because we can't afford it. And after that conference, because it was so strange, because I've never saw so many people that were so happy that they got what they wanted. Because there's somebody on here that's been through a bunch of conferences and they go, you know what? Look at all these top people. Only the top people make it. And I thought it was strange. They were giving each other hugs. I thought drugs or alcohol. It was so strange for me. I've never seen so many people happy. So I'm sitting here and I left there because I had a chance to go around and talk to so many people. And I left there a decided mind. You know what? I was so decided. I was so decided. I said, that's it. I'm definitely doing it. I'm going to pass my test. And April came. I took, right a little bit before April, I took my first test. My wife and I go down to take our test. My wife passed. I failed. I was like, horrible ride home, different story. Yes, yeah, my wife passed. And I said, I quit. It was the first time I decided to quit this industry. And my wife said, no, you're going to take your test again. And that question you asked me, Xander, about like, how do you create a culture where you have building and you have people at top producers, there's people that want different things. Well, it's crazy. It started with somebody that wanted to impact somebody else and give somebody a possible change and wanted a chance. And I'm thankful that they kept those ads out there to find somebody like me. And when I got into this industry, was I good? Horrible. I was bad at following instructions. I was bad at connecting with a system. I was like, oh no, I got this. I got a tool belt. I'm background in service and sales and I got this. But it was a totally different tool belt for me. And I had to learn. And here's the thing. Do you think when that life thing happened, do you think that was the last time that life was going to happen to me again? No. Guess what it did? Because all through me getting better and making money for my family and having the time freedom, my brothers are like, man, I want to do this too. And I didn't start off even wanting to build. I didn't even know what
Mm,
that was. You know what I wanted? Somebody I cared about to give them an opportunity to achieve what they wanted, not what I wanted, what they wanted out of this. Man. And all of a sudden I get a few people that are chasing their dream. And 3 years into this business, I'm sitting here and my wife and I also struggle to have kids. There has to be somebody, a couple that struggled, wanted kids their entire life. We struggled to have it for 10 years. We thought we were going to be Uncle Ryan, Aunt Michelle forever. And we finally had a baby girl. Oh my God. Thank God she looks like her mom. 4 pounds, 7 ounces. Not when she first was born. 4 pounds, 7 ounces. And she's holding this little thing, right? And I'm so grateful because that's a different love as a parent, right? And my mom is visiting. It's her time. She's moving every 3 months. She's living with another brother and she's out there holding my little girl. And all of a sudden my mom says, I don't feel well. We end up taking her to the hospital and my mom gets diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and is given 6 months to live.
Man.
Wait a minute. I just watched one parent die quickly by accident. And now I get to slowly watch my mom die. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how bad hospice was, but I'm not going to tell you how she died, but I get to tell you how my mom lived because of this industry. Because of this industry, my mom was not so good at paperwork, man. Like she didn't have insurance. So she needed chemo and every chemo treatment was $5,000 every 3 weeks. Was able to pay that in cash every single chemo treatment.
Mm.
My mom wanted to spend the rest of her life watching hummingbirds. Guess what, Mom? You're going to get that damn thing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a lake house. I'm going to buy a lake house where our entire family, we can come in all the time to see you because we can run this business wherever we want. We can go who, what, where, when, how. We decide. And my mom was able to watch hummingbirds for her entire rest of her life. We were there for every chemo treatment. My brother Dan didn't have he had the best relationship with my mom and dad because my brother Dan was able to live with her at the same time. And we were actually able to give her the thing that we actually happened to have, which she wanted so bad and loved the fact that we were all together, that the morning coffees.
I was just about
How
to
about
say.
how about the hugs? How about the morning hugs? Now you tell me, is it worth the price? Is it worth is it worth reintroducing yourself to a new industry? Is it worth you taking a chance on yourself? Is it worth doing the uncomfortable to get the impossible? It's not impossible for you. I saw way too many people with all different backgrounds, all different education, and they were winning. Not just because of the money, they were winning the time and the money. And they gave me this platform. I had no idea that strength was not born in peace. It was forged in chaos. It was forged in being with a group of people with all different backgrounds, all different wants and dreams. And that's what you asked. How can you have this environment where everybody wants something different and they can come into a place, leverage everything that's available, and they get it? You want to make $2,000 to spend on your grandkids, and that's all you want? We would love to have you. You know why? Because that's what you wanted. You want to make $40,000, then you want to go on 3 months of vacation. That's what you want. Great. If you want to build a legacy like I did, like after I saw what this did to our family, what do I want? I want what you want. I want you to have the time. I want you to have the financial stability. I want you to go after everything that you ever wanted. You want to be the first millionaire? Let's go get it. You want to break generational background and lines of direction saying that you can afford? Let's break that too. And that's because of what this company allowed me to become. They allowed me to continue to reintroduce myself every single year because I was able to grow because of the company, because of the leadership, because of the people that were building or just producing. So I believe there's a track. So you asked about the environment? Really easy. It's not about what I want. If you want to produce, if you want somebody to do that, great. We would love to have you. I would love for you to be that example for somebody else that's a single mom, that has 2 kids, that can only work after they're in bed. I want to be that person that if you need to take care of your family, you're going to go to a funeral, you want to work for 1 month and go cruising for 3 months. I want to be that person that helps just a little bit that we have an environment to help you achieve that. And it's about what the person wants. It's about what they want. And if we as an industry, doesn't matter where you go. If it's about what they want, it's an environment that's directing you to do one thing. You got to question for a second, is it what they want and is this really what you want?
Mm,
And I hope you
right.
reach that conversation, Xander. Like when somebody asks me, I talk about what's most important: your short-term dream and your long-term dream. If money was not a problem, if money was off the table, what would you really want to, what do you want to do? Do you think that where I'm at now, that this is the end result? This is the bridge to get you everything you want. I have a couple right now that wants to build a church. How are we going to do that? How are we going to fund that? What does that look like? How much money do you need? What kind of impact do you, let's draw this thing out and let's make dreams become reality through this industry. So to answer your question direct, like the environment is good for it all. The difference is there's some people that have crushed directives and motives saying why you need to do this and why you can only do this. And the thing about why you should only do this, and here's why. If you're hearing those kind of conversations and not like the person's not asking you what you want and what's your plan to achieve it and how can we help you achieve it, man, I think the conversation needs to switch a little bit because
Yeah.
that is alternative. That's not what we should be looking for.
Mm. I, uh, I mean, so much to kind of unpack here, but one of the things that I fell in love with about symmetry early on is even before I had any results to kind of prove this to myself. When I went to my first event, I went newly licensed, but I hadn't done anything, and I had the same reaction as you, Ryan, where everybody's fired up, everybody's excited, everybody's happy, everybody seems to like each other, and I was like, this can't be real,
Right? Isn't it?
but it was real, and the reason it was real is it's not just this industry, it's this company in particular gives people the ability to dream again. And I think people are a little reluctant to that because of how rare it is. And so they come into this 1 foot in, 1 foot out, kind of skeptical. Is this real? Can I get this? And one of the things I just love about your story, bro, beyond the fact that you got to see the impact of somebody helping your dad with a policy that you didn't even know about. And dude, I got chills just thinking about it because like that's what we do on a
Same.
daily basis. And you got to be there for your mom, not only in helping make that happen because it was in a trash bag. It could have easily just been thrown out and somebody would have never filed a claim. And not only that, you and Michelle, thank God Michelle found it and decided to kind of rummage through it. But you, in addition to that, you were able to bring your family together, dude. Like your brothers. I'm the oldest of four, and there's something about just the sibling love, sibling dynamic, and how difficult it can be when you're separated by state lines. And you were able to bring everybody together in a lake house for months. For months, you guys hung out there. I remember when this happened. And the relationship, I can't imagine how the relationship between you and Carl and Dan and Ben, what that's like now because of that time and this industry and this business that you built, you and your wife built, made that possible.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned family. Ready? How many of us go, I love family, but never would want to work with family? Because there's that double-edged sword. All right, so here's what's so awesome about like this environment and symmetry is the fact that what if your family, because everyone comes in, they get to own it, right? It's what they want. And what if I told you that my brothers didn't have just me? My brothers had access to all these leaders, different personalities that I didn't feel like guess what? I didn't want to breach that family relationship with business because maybe you have that experience with working with family on the other side of that where you're like, man, I want them to have the success. And what if I'm the person? I don't want to get in that way with business. What I want is I want you to be able to plug into a system and then leverage what is already there to achieve what you want. My brother Carl, ever says symmetry, never missed a cheerleading event or football game. My brother Ben made more money he's ever had his first year. You mentioned about being like sales. My brother's first year in symmetry never sold anything in his entire life. Never. He was not, he ran across the sales floor. He's scared of it. He hated every aspect. Do you know my brother was the number 7 top producer in the entire company his first year? How? And it wasn't because of his 35% close rate. It's because no, because and that's what it was. How? So now somebody listening going, man, I suck at sales, but guess what? If you care to help provide a solution to that client's problem, they may or may not even realize that they actually have in case a tragedy would happen, like my dad all of a sudden you help one person that you're not going to replace the human being that you lost, but man, it feels unbelievable to realize that you're the person that instead of their hand out looking for something for somebody that's gone through a devastation, you're actually providing something to them that's going to help generationally through that hardest time. So when you have family, how many of you would love, listen to this, would love to have your family member experience the same success, but you don't want to be the person to help train. You already know this is not, I don't want to do that. I don't want my family. With family four, don't want that. There's so many people have family members in because they have so much access to so many other people, and there's nothing more than family wants than family to win,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Mm.
it's funny because Elijah and I have talked about this before, is being in insurance sales is almost almost an oxymoron because when done correctly, it doesn't feel like you're selling someone. Like there's no perfect pitch. There's no perfect objection handle, right? But it's like you're showing up there for them. If you're not asking questions, you're missing the boat. Like we're trying to get them to understand. I think I heard this from you, Ryan, is like they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And like if they can understand like I am here for you, I'm trying to help figure out how to solve this problem. It's no longer a sale, right? It's like a constant, it's just a conversation. And it seems like that's something that you really excel at, and I think everybody needs to excel at if they want to get to that level.
Well, how about this? How about, on top of that, wouldn't you agree everyone has a story? And actually, everyone's story actually matters. And what's interesting is your story can evolve, your dreams can evolve, your impact can evolve. Like I want to be able to give away 90% of my income and live on the 10%. I want to, like, I went from just participating to make a wish to granting wishes. I went from going on carrier trips to putting on carrier trips. I went on going to conferences to putting on conferences because I want to impact at that level. Do you know what I realized? That money, it's so money is not going to change you. It's going to multiply the type of person you are. So if you're a, you know what, you're probably going to be a bigger one. If you're a
Mm,
person that comes in with care, right? If you actually care about the individual you're talking to, and I'm talking loud and people are like, I feel like I'm not yelling. I'm passionate. I know what this has done to help my family. I know, thank God that person continued to try to help my dad with a policy. Man, I'd like to meet that person.
mm.
There's just so much. You said it. It's so non-salesy. People think you have to be good at sales. In fact, I'll tell you that sometimes the best people are the ones that never had sales. That's not bringing in any of the baggage. They just come in with an open heart and saying, "Man, I'm going to give you my all. I'm not going to look at this as This is not a hobby. I'm okay with part time, not part committed, as long as we're achieving what you want." That's the
Mhm,
most important thing. And isn't that the same thing with our clients? Like helping them, like fill in the gap of a possibility of something were to happen to a spouse. And I mean, living. Somebody has cancer. Do they have a policy to protect that? You know what? If cancer I wish my mom had a cancer policy, right? Long before where all of a sudden, if I got to do some experimental treatments, I could bring my mom overseas because we need to all of a sudden have cash. What about during the living? Like there's so many things out there in this industry, and it's not about sales, it's about problem solving. And guess what?
mhm,
Every single one of us has them. We all have problems. Life's going to happen. And I would much rather do this with a bunch of people that feel the same way about helping people, whether you're an individual producer and you only want to produce at a high level to help families to be able to have all the time, or you want to build a legacy and you want to help people, help other people. Like I could only help 14, 15 families a month. I wasn't $100,000 a month producer. How can I helping more people, Zan? Well, I guess I need to help more agents get what they want so they can help more clients. How about I do that? How about instead of me putting a limit on what I think somebody can do, I stop playing God for a second, let everyone come in and let the system decide and you decide what to get. It's not because of my own expectations or my own cap thinking of what I think you can do. How about you can bring in people that are much better at producing? How about you can bring people in that want to build something bigger? Why do we want to limit ourselves? There's more self-made millionaires in this industry than any other industry out there. And I'm one of them. I never thought in my life I'd be able to own a house. I never thought I'd be able to travel around the world. I never thought when I was going to walk out the door that my daughter cries for me. I never thought I was going to walk my daughter and pick her up from school. I never thought I'd have that.
mm,
And at the same time, I've sat with families that have lost a loved one, and to be able to be in that one moment of helping them, man, there is nothing I could say to that feeling when you lose a loved one and you got to worry about the financial stress on top of losing the person that has been in your life here. And I mean, there's nothing to describe that.
mm.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, Ryan, that's one of the main reasons I was so okay with getting in sales with this company. Because growing up, nobody grows up thinking I want to be an insurance agent when I'm old enough. Nobody does. But one thing I did know is I didn't wanna go to work every day and do something I disliked because I grew up in a household, and I think a lot of people do, where their parents are just working hard, doing what they need to do to keep a roof over their head, food in the fridge, and, like, run the household, and they're gonna do whatever job they need. Not everybody has the luxury of doing something they love. And if you can ever get partnered with a company or build a business doing something you can be passionate about, that was something I was all for. And when I saw that insurance was the vehicle, where am I overly passionate about insurance products? Not so much. But it's the avenue with which we could be passionate about serving families. And then it's like a double edged sword because then we can also impact people on the recruiting side by bringing people into the business, showing them a pathway that gives them the ability to dream again and get what they want. And one thing I want to talk to you about, Ryan, is on the topic of recruiting because that's something you're a master at. This is for the people who don't know, by the way. This is a master class on recruiting, and he just gave us a master class on storytelling. But with recruiting, one of the big mistakes I made early on, Ryan, is I was wanting things from the agents I was bringing on. I had dollar signs for eyeballs whenever I hired somebody. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to making all this passive income. And it's like pushing rope, man. I mean, I just couldn't get people to do anything because whenever I would communicate with them, I was just selfish, honestly. Like I was leading from a place of what can I get from this person? And it's no surprise I was a terrible leader. Every single one of them quit. And then it was just, I had to rebuild and I had to rebuild myself. And when we look at your numbers, okay, just to remind people who might have forgotten, you did 660 grand your first year. I know that wasn't all on your own pen. Maybe it was.
No, remember, I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
You
no,
had a couple people,
yeah,
and then something changed in
yeah,
2016. And I want to know what that change was because you went from 660, which is a great year, to over $4 million as a team.
yeah.
There's no way you were just getting stuff from agents. You had to have, I mean, you had to do something. What changed that year? And like talk to us a little bit about like how to lead from a place of helping people get what they want because people are going to work way harder for what they want than what you want.
Okay,
Um,
I
so
love
dig
it.
into that, man.
All right. All right, so huge heartfelt. I'm such a heart guy, man. I know what I want. I want everyone to win. Is everyone going to want that? Meaning, is everyone willing to pay the price to get that? You know,
Probably
that
not.
was really hard for me to sit there and go, man, I want to help everybody. But sometimes when you help everyone, even when they don't want the help for themselves or willing to pay the price to learn and to get better, I end up hurting the few that were that
Mhm.
couldn't use that extra time. So now let's talk about the logistics. Ready? At the end of the first year, remember my brothers came in. Oh, hey, listen, it's because he had his brothers. It's because hey, he had his warm market. Well, guess what? At one point, there's no more Ball Brothers. At one point, there's not enough warm market. What do? We saw a stagnation. We saw a cap. Oh my God, what to do? And here's the thing, number wise. Would you rather be you recruit three people, you got two writers, people that are willing to make changes, okay? Or and look at that retention. Oh my God, so good. I brought three, two made it in. They're doing awesome. Or would you rather be 4 for 40? Wait a minute. Are you telling me 36 people didn't make it? Well, you can look at it like that, or I could tell you that compared to year two, I have four. I have four people that got change that gets to change their life. I got four people making changes to help them achieve what they're dreaming. The goal is to help as many people achieve their dreams. So the law of large numbers, this is not about, by the way, we're going to bring all these people in and see what sticks. No. But what happens is we sit there and we qualify people in when in a 30-minute conversation, when you don't know what somebody's real why is, somebody's not going to tell you their life story in 30 minutes to a stranger. How about we give them an opportunity to see and grow and encourage in an area where now all of a sudden we give them a chance for them to achieve what they want. And how many of those people do I want? I went from warm market at the end of the first year to go, you know what? I'm on a Craigslist ad. I came from a cold market. I came from a cold market $25 ad. My entire life, my brothers, 1,000 people's all because somebody invested $25 in a Craigslist ad, and they had no idea what was behind that one ad that was going on in my life. So the question becomes frequency, not about, hey, I want everyone to win, but not everyone's willing to pay the price. Not everyone's willing to change when things around them change, like technology, or all of a sudden we're going to houses and COVID happens and now we're doing everything digital. Oh my God, I can't do digital. There's always self limitation. So it went from warm market to going, okay, all right, we need to be able to help people find this opportunity. And instead of me qualifying in, I'm going to let the system qualify those people out, meaning they get to pick. See, that's the difference. I bring people in to see what the environment is. I bring people to these events like Ignite that's coming up so they can decide and be able to break bread and have conversations to like-minded people with things that they want to achieve. Maybe they want to travel the world. That's all they want to do, right? Little policy, travel the world. Don't you want to be able to talk to people like that? Not because that's not what I'm doing because I have a family. My girl goes to school. I can't travel the world all the time. But the idea is to me, this is about quantifying numbers so I can find people that actually not only want a change, they're willing to sacrifice who they were and open up who they can become, and they just let it all come in. I want to get better. I never wrote 5,000. Somebody help me bring $5,000 into my family. How many of you life would change if you made $10,000? How many of you your life would change with 3,000? Don't you want as many people come in and at least experience and have a chance at this opportunity? Or do we want to take the psychology of, you know what? You're not even going to get past go. You know what? Monopoly, you go straight to jail. No, you don't even get an opportunity to go around the board. Why can't we let everyone roll the dice? Why can't we put people in a spot where they got an encouragement environment? They have different types of personality and leadership and direct, like you get so many different opportunities and perspective to take it in that gets you changing your mindset and your self-belief that you're actually you just trying to uncover what we already knows in you. And how about you need somebody to uncover that for a second? So
Mm.
I went from warm market, like guys, hey guys, just get your warm market. Hey man, talk about you want your family to experience, right? To going, okay, how can I show the opportunity more to people? See, I stopped right there. All I realized is I wanted to get it out more because most people have no idea what you really can get in insurance. And yes, warm market, the like and trust. Yes, I can tell you my brother Dan took a year to come in. A year. All my brother's experience and all the success of my brother Dan selling cars in Arizona. And he still took a year. So what could I have been doing? What I could have been doing this first year is I could have been doing things like Craigslist or ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn or doing podcasts and letting people know that this has changed my life. And I don't know if you want your life change or there's something that you're not happy about, that maybe in that workplace or something that's just not, if it's time, if it's money, if it's I have no idea. But don't you at least want an opportunity to see if symmetry or the environment is actually the solver for you? And the only way to know it is to do it, not because I said it will, it's because you experienced it yourself. So the answer is, to me, 4 for 40 or 2 for 3. Ah, I'd rather help 4 people and not 2. So
Right.
Hmm.
so that's the psychology behind that. So I had so many more people that go, you know what? I am not going to cap I am not going to cap their possibility with my limitations on my self belief because I haven't experienced it. I haven't experienced being a millionaire yet. What if I brought somebody in that just wanted a lot more? And I'm going to, in my limited belief, going to say that this person is not qualified? Or is it because of my limited belief and me capping the possibility of an opportunity that's actually seizing their dream? And I didn't even know I was doing it.
Mm.
Well, and kind of with that, one thing I'm really curious about with someone who has such a big heart, right? So obviously, you did some cold market, right? You run out of warm market people eventually. Um, me personally, I've had a number of people who initially they will open up on that initial 30-minute interview, right? And they will tell me their life story and what they want, and like I get excited for them. I'm like, anyone can do this, right? So there's no reason that you can't. The thing that I then struggle with sometimes is then they don't have the actions to back it up. And then I'm almost more invested in their dream. Like I want them to win.
Yeah.
I don't, but it's emotionally painful when you're more invested in their dream than they are. And they'll come to you and you're like, well, you told me you wanted this. Here's what I told you you need to do to get that. I can't do the work for you though. And I'm curious how you handle that
Oh,
because that's been a
I
tough one
love
for me.
it. I almost got to ask, is that their problem or yours? So so Xander, hey, I bring this up because I love this. Ready? Here's when I say this. When you have a person doing production and they come to you and they go, dude, I have a sales problem. I cannot sell anybody in this house. It's always the thing before it, not the thing that they actually need help on. Meaning, it wasn't the fact that they can't sell. And I asked them, well, how many people do you see this week? And they said 5. And your answer would have automatically been what? It's not a sales problem. It's a what?
It's
It's
a
an employment
numbers
problem.
problem,
It's
homie.
a seeing people problem. Now you ready? This helps with the emotion because I had it. This touches. This is me because I want everyone to win. And when I told people 4 for 40, they go, "Oh my God, this guy's heartless." I have the biggest heart in the world. In fact, it hurts me so bad when I'm sitting here giving you the answer, the keys. I'm giving you it's right here. Your life will forever change, but they're not willing to drive. They're not willing to set, they're not in that part. You ready? So, how do I help that person? You ready? The numbers. So, when I have more people that need help, and all of a sudden you're in this position of not helping yourself, that every time I'm on a mentorship conversation, I leave with an assignment every single time. So,
Mm.
Xander, you know what? Hey, listen, remind me again. You want to retire your mom. Remind me again. Didn't you want to make sure? And I list all their whys again. So here's what your assignment is. And I give them one step to achieve it. Once you have that step, I want you to reach back out. And here's the other thing. You ready? When you have nothing else on your schedule, Xander, when I don't have any recruiting, when I don't have any other person that deserves that kind of opportunity too, then our thought process, you know what? I do feel bad this person. I go, but you know when I don't feel bad? When I have somebody else that needs my help. I can,
Yeah.
that means if I'm in a position and they're not willing to do it, does it hurt? Yes. But if you were in my shoes, Xander, and I could sit in another hour conversation and we talked about the assignment and you didn't do it to help you achieve what you wanted, not what I wanted. And I have this other person that's over here and they're texting you. They're texting you going, hey, just tell me what's next, Xander. Tell me where I need to go. Tell me my next step to achieve my goal. I'm willing. I want to do it. I'm coachable. Who do you feel worse about? I feel worse not giving to the guy that's willing to sacrifice. So do you
100%.
see how, Xander, I can separate that part? And
Yeah.
this is why the numbers are important, because if I have more people to talk to give them more of an opportunity, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit and help motivate your hunger drive. I,
Mm.
yeah, like If your mom needs surgery money, if you want to retire your wife, no one's going to come in and save you. So
Right.
here's the thing. If I'm sitting here and I'm working with somebody and I say, okay, how many appointments did you have for the week? You say it's a sales problem. They're like, oh, I only saw 2 people. You don't have it. You haven't seen people. We gotta get don't you gotta help you book more appointments. That's what we gotta do.
Right. Right.
And I said, here's what I want to do. Let's get on. Show me your schedule. Tell me how your dial session goes. Let's talk about resources and dials and activities. And let's help you with the structure because most of the time it's schedule based. They're not following their schedule because our job is to access more out of each time frame. But I get more people to decide where I actually feel bad not helping the people that actually want help. So that person, Xander, I don't even, I can't. It's not right to the people that want to do the work. It's not right to the people that are doing the right things for them, not because I, be for them, not me, in order to achieve what they want. Now, does it work all the time? No, because do we all falter? Do we all make mistakes? Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. That's why I get to reintroduce myself every single day. I have a new opportunity, but I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I'm willing to get on a conversation with you, but you got to be very clear. I am not the driver of your future.
Mhm.
You are.
Mm.
So I leave every person with an assignment. I go back at once they tell me what they have a problem with. I give an assignment that's usually the problem of 4. And guess what? They get lots of appointments and no one shows. Oh my God, it's the booking script. Let's look at the tie down. They get no appointments. They only have such a small number because they have such a high show rate. Hey man, I booked 6 and I saw 5. Well, if you're full time, you want to see at least 10 a week to make over $100,000 in this industry. So is that the fact that he has such a high show rate? Is that the problem? No, still, we need more. Now we get to resources and dialing. It's always the thing before to help the person. So I always leave an assignment to handle the hole in the boat that your mentor has see the perspective on how to fix it, to give you an opportunity to fix it. And if you're not willing to do the action step to fail through progression, meaning this is important. When you start and starts, and this is in the industry, you buy leads, you make calls, you make no appointments. You buy leads, you make calls, you get appointments, no one shows. You buy leads, you book appointments, they show, I can't sell anybody. You buy leads, you book appointments. Oh my God, somebody showed and I sold them. Charge back. I buy leads, okay, here's what's funny. Here's the thing. If they don't go through the progression, if they don't correct, if they don't get new perspective, if they don't fill in the hole in the boat, if they don't take an assignment to change it, whose fault is that?
It's not yours.
No. So here's the thing. Where am I going to spend my time? With somebody that wants that change so bad that they want whatever thing that they want, whether it's production or recruiting, and you need help to facilitate, you need a system to leverage, you need an environment, you need that, man, this is the place for you. But if you can't take perspective, if you're not coachable, if you're not willing to sacrifice, if you're not willing to come to the table as a partner, if you're not going to come in and give everything you got for your dream, and you're not willing to invest in you, then why would anybody else want to?
Mm.
Right.
Mm. Well, I wrote that down. One of the things.
Xander, I just can't use like those. I love those questions, because Xander, you're right. That what you said that happens all the time, man, with the heart. And I wasn't able to separate the results from the process, and I realized the emotion needs to be on the process. I need people doing the right behaviors to create an unconsciously competent individual where they're doing the right things that create the right results. And I'd rather spend time with those people. And
Mm.
I let myself off the hook with that.
Mm.
I Well, and that makes so much sense because when I'm still an early builder, right? I just hit AO a couple months ago, and so those first couple of people, you're like, oh yes, this I've got a guy, right? We have a video about it, and I have found that the more people that you have coming to you, what you're saying is spot on. It's like if you're spending time helping the people that actually want to, you can't steer a parked car. They're driving the car. That it's kind of natural that I just can't get to the people who are sitting there whining about stuff, right? Because I've already told them what they need to do. I'm so busy helping the people who are actually doing something. Um, but that's one of those things, like you said, I had to go through that stage. Like, I
Everyone
could be
does
told
it.
that, right? Yeah. No,
All
what a
right,
great
so I'm
answer.
glad you said that. So you ready? And you go from agency owner, and I got people that come to me. These are your ride and dies, the people that like these are your closest people, right? And I told you, well, Ryan, how can you be a level 5 relationship with 1,000 people? The answer is I'm not. I'm not. And here's the thing. The people that get my time is the people that seek my time. And at some point, you get so busy that Xander, they're going to be like, you know what? I need help. And you're going to look at a leader and you're going, guys, you go from a single mentorship to, you know what? We see a commonality. You guys all have struggle booking. Let's all three get on. We're going to do a training on that. I group. And then I start giving people assignments. And then I sit there and go, you know what? I can't help change your behavior. You have to choose it. Is it easier to create new behavior? Yeah. Somebody that comes in that doesn't know better, absolutely. They'll come in and they'll be like, hey, just tell me what to do. Why are
Right.
those people come in and they take leads that are whatever, didn't care how fresh or old or it didn't matter. And those people kill it. You know why? They don't have anything prior experience or direction, and time is the most important thing you have. You're the multiplier, man. You
Mm.
guys are the impact players like you're doing on this podcast. I love it. So guess what? Leaders, buckle up. Don't bring your damn stack to me. You're either going to light up or get lit up, one of the two. Let's get after it.
I love
Xander,
it.
I love it, dude. Congratulations on your AO2, man. I love it.
Appreciate it.
So something I would love to get, one of the things I was so excited about, in addition to just sharing you with the people who listen selfishly, I mean, I'm here to sponge up everything you're dropping, Ryan. And in the same way that a production journey can kind of be like a roller coaster for people as they're figuring out their script, they're figuring out their tie down, whatever. Recruiting is the same way. It's the same process, same learning curve, different client. In this case, the client's a potential new recruit. You're not selling them a policy, you're selling them a new way of life, a new career path, a new dream, whatever. The ups and downs can be a little bit rocky with recruiting. Similarly, I've had a handful. We're back on the recruiting horse. I went through a season where I was recruiting a little bit, everybody quit, and then I was a one-man show, just selling my tail off. And it was great for a while, but being on an island, nowhere near as fun, in comparison to being engaged and plugged in with what's happening. It can be daunting to start
Yeah.
over. It could be so
Oh,
daunting to start over and just like kind of wince of like, okay, is the other shoe going to drop? Like, is the same thing going to happen? What would you tell somebody who's maybe been in the game for a little bit?
yeah,
They're not where they want to be. They
sure.
know what they need to do. I guess that what would you tell somebody who like doesn't know what to start doing first? Like, what is the practical? How do you go from a one-man show to an army of people rallying around the same vision? What
I
would you
love
tell
it.
somebody who wants that, man?
All right. I do it in two parts. First of all, somebody that's been here for a while to stop and go. Do you know what cuts through all the emotion? Numbers. So the first thing I'm doing with somebody that's already recruiting is going, hey, do me a favor, guys. Can you show me the last 6 months of your recruiting? What do you mean? Well, here's what I want to know, like production. I want to know total amount of interviews. I want to know total amount of sat in the interview. I want to know the total amount of hired. I want to know the total if they're licensed or unlicensed. I want to know the total amount of enrolled in the course or not. I want to know how many people are engaging into the calls. I want to know the people that pass. How fast do people get through the course? I want to know if they're ready. How many people are actually ordering leads that come out and they go, "Yep, I want to know that number." The reason why I want all that is because it's going to show the mentor what your trend is. This is important. There's not a playbook that says only do this. It's universal. It's going to work for everybody. You're hiring humans. Like that everyone's going to be different. And like you talked about being the one-man show, we have to first lead ourselves and then we can help lead others. So when you can identify, when we can look at the numbers outside of emotion and where your mindset is going, Okay, you're great at getting packets back. No one's enrolling. Let's hear that conversation. You get people enrolled, no one's getting out. How often are you reaching out? Are they engaged? I'm filling in the holes in the boat through progression. If same thing in production, if you don't go long enough in recruiting, it's money for tomorrow. In recruiting, you if in 3 months, if all you get in recruiting after the investment time, they go, you know what? I'm going to spend $500 or $100 or $1,000 in recruiting, whatever those sources are. You got commitment. You are not, no matter where it ends up, you're not moving and you're just massive action, constant correction for 3 months. If all you find at the end of 3 months is one person that has the vision to change their life, that they want to impact, that they want to impact more people, that they want to build a business, that's all I am asking for. That you're going to get producers either way. You know why? Because producing is money for today. You have to produce because you're never going to make building without making sure your family is good today. That's number one. So they're going to do that either way. You're going to get producers. But people that want to build something great, people that want generational wealth, they want to impact. I find my multiplier. Now, this is the difference between addition and multiplication because this is what crushes early builders, crushes them. If you can't identify that person on the call, that it's not just production, right? Like they sit there and go, you know what? The business opportunity, like passive income and money and hitting my account before I wake up and being, I want this for all these reasons. And you can't identify that as soon as they come in, as soon as they're licensed and they're ready to go, even before that, they're already talking to people about this and getting those people in. Hey, listen to this call. Hey, listen, I really respect you. You're an amazing. Listen, I'm joining this company. They're amazing, but I just can't put my finger on something. I respect. Can you look at this thing and tell me what you think about it? And send them a corporate overview. And when you call them back, you're like, am I missing something? Like, this is almost too good to be true. And they go, oh my God, it's so good. I'm like, do you know anyone that wouldn't mind making $2,000 to $4,000 on a part-time level? Yeah, me. Like, you'll get a lot. So here's the thing. You find that person and the conversation I'm having is exactly this. I go back to the why. Now, remind me again. I have the notes that anyone that wants to build, the time they license, I go back to my note. I tell me again. Well, why did you want to do this? Like, why were we getting into insurance? And tell me money was an issue. What would you be doing? I go through the whole why, and I said, okay, you ready? The good news is we're going to help you start building your dream, and we're going to start getting you going right away on that. So pull up your schedule for next Wednesday. All right. I booked them automatically for the next thing. And we're going to say, we're going to help starting building your agency now. Now, you see how I do that without even talking about what the cost is? Why? Because they're picking the investment. So I get them initialized right away because I don't remember new behavior. Some people go, well, man, why would I want to recruit until I know this works? Oh, are you God? Are you telling me that this is somebody over here? It can't do better than you. When Carl came in, my oldest brother, Carl, I had nothing to do with his training. Rob did. When John came in, Carl wasn't the person to tell. I was. You have people that are going to be there to help train your people because you're trying to help somebody get somewhere you've never been. So my goal on the recruiting is you need to find the unique builders. If you could find the unique builders, takes you from addition to multiplication, where all of a sudden I'm doing $1,000 a month and I'm getting whatever, 60, 80 conversation, whatever that number is. Okay. Whatever that cost, whatever, there's so many different avenues for recruiting, whatever that number is. And I get one other person that says they want to do the same thing. I just went from 80 to 160. And guess what? I didn't have to spend 2,000 because I have somebody else that they want to build their dream. They get to leverage me for that. So all of a sudden you get an agency and I could sit there and go, yeah, I spend $5,000 a month on recruiting. But
We were going to ask about that. That's good to
how
know.
much recruiting do you think my agency does on a monthly basis?
Over
A
6
big
figures.
number. All right, so this
Yeah.
is the thing, right? Doesn't that take you from feeling alone to no matter what? Now you have a business, don't you? Now you have shared partners, don't you? So early on, when you're building, if you can't recognize the unique builder, and I don't care if somebody says to me, "Hey, I can only afford $100 or $50," and I go, "You better have an answer." "Yep, we'll do Craigslist. I got you." But you're going to stay committed every week for 3 months, not changing, right? Because the work you do in 3 months, that's when pipelining starts happening, where every week you'll start having people come out. You'll have more people passing tests. I can start moving my progression as a mentee going through new challenges on help, but I'm identifying going from addition to multiplication. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm,
Do you see the difference? Like, Xander, like you see
I
what I'm
got
saying,
notes.
right? So when you go back to your guys' recruiting, and this is anyone in the industry, this is what don't you hear even from people that's been recruiting a long time? Oh my God. It's all on me. And I just can't keep spending 4,000, 5,000, 3,000. You hear, I just can't do it. Okay. Well, that's because it's all on you. That's not what this business model is about. This business model is to help other people achieve and give them a chance for them to get what they want. They're a business owner too. So we're going to sit in here in a business and what you're coming to the table and so am I. And you get to leverage. This is why people have access to symmetry and companies like that, where you get to leverage your uplines. You get to leverage the system. You get to plug these people in where now they get a chance. But if somebody wants to build, we're going to start building today,
Right.
because it's a lot easier even telling your friends to do Craigslist or ZipRecruiter or point them to a call or bring them to a conference. I'm going to identify a new unique builder. And if those numbers go up and to the right, everything else multiplies. Your results will multiply too.
Mm. One thing I've noticed about the people who have the biggest teams, my upline, Chris Cook, yourself, Edward Pritchett, one thing that every single builder who's winning at a high level does so well is they're really good traffic cops. They just tell people, "Hey, oh, you got a question? Go look it here." Or, "Hey, you're struggling with this. Well, good news is we got an event happening next month, and you need to be there." Um, there's an event happening. We just had conference in Denver. We got more conferences happening in March. How are you? I mean, Marshall Whalen talks about it all the time. And I love how simple this man makes this business. It's all about just getting butts and seats, man. Like that's what he's focused on. It can be a little bit tricky, getting people to commit to showing up to an event if they've never been to one before. Once you go, it's not hard, but like getting them to go for the first time is a little bit tricky. Is it as simple as just reminding them of their why and saying, "Hey, this is going to help you and you need to be there and I won't mentor you if you don't
Yeah.
go?" Or does that conversation sound different?
So I guess the question I always ask people is, I guess the people that are building, and the importance of going, like, the percentages. If you don't go to conference, if you don't grow, if you don't associate, the odds of you making it, the next one, is very slim. And you know that, right? Then I don't even understand why we think it's an option, meaning it's a part of it. So my answer is, when I bring people on, we do meet and greets. I meet all the new people that are coming in my base shop or whatever it is. And every week, and I go, all right. And I tell them this story. And I said, here's the thing. We don't make you go into buildings. It doesn't matter to me if you do this for border. It doesn't matter. You can do this wherever you want, but we do meet twice a year. And I'm going to tell you why. Have you ever, Xander, maybe you can, and we'll play this live role play right now. Xander, what was the one thing in your entire life that you were most proud of yourself with? Meaning the thing that you worked so hard. I don't care if it's a sporting event. I don't care if it's an accolade. The thing that you just worked to get it and you just felt so accomplished. Can you name one thing that you worked so hard to achieve? It could be in education. It could be sports. It could be anything.
Two actually come to mind. When I was younger, I lacrosse was my sport, and when I want to say I was 13, yeah, when I was 12, I didn't pass the tryout, And then after that, I didn't get picked for the team. And I was like every single day I was, doing wall ball practicing. And then the next year, I actually made the team above my age group. So that was a big one. The other one was my degree, software engineering, kicked my tail. Like it was I was
Woo!
just up in a windowless room with a bunch of other aspiring software engineers, and that was a real grind. Like when I got that piece of paper, I was like, I did it.
All right, ready? In lacrosse, first of all, I love that lacrosse and the engineering. Okay, so in both cases, I want you to remember in the very beginning when you didn't make that try, like you failed the tryout. And remember that beginning time where it was something brand new, like your first tryout, or you're going through your engineering, and that beginning time of that, because it's something new. It's a new chapter, a new direction. Do you remember how hard it was in the beginning? Like all the extra time, all the sacrifice, all the challenges, all the failures. Can you remember that time's the longest and it's the time that sucks the most? You remember that part?
Yeah.
Like, how long did it take you to get good at engineering? How long did it take you to get good at lacrosse? Now, I want you to think about this, guys. This is everybody. You guys are coming in into a brand new, and I want you to take the same association. You're talking about that. And I want you to think about you're brand new in this. If there was something that you can do, and go back to lacrosse and engineering, that you can attend a 2 or 3 day event and it could take 6 months off of that learning curve in the very beginning. 6 months of that suck away. Would you go to the event?
How quickly can I get there?
Okay.
You know?
So I say that because this is the other analogy, and this is so true. And I've used this, and this is literally what I'm asking. I'm pointing it to that beginning time of something new, and all of a sudden you get to one event, and they can show you you can learn, and you can cut 6 months of that crap off. Most people are going to be like, please, because they can go through what it felt like for them on the thing that they really accomplished and how long it took at that very beginning of the suck, right? And this is the other analogy, and I use the same thing. Golf. If you guys and I decide that we're gonna have a bet, you and I are golf, and I'm terrible, but let's say that right now we're gonna do golf bet. You guys have this option, and for 2 days, you can research on YouTube. You can rewind all the videos. You can look up all your PGA Tour people and keep rewinding and learning and all stuff. And I get 2 days with Tiger Woods live. I get to eat breakfast with Tiger Woods. I get to see what his mindset is. I get to see what his bag lineup. I get to walk up to every single hole. I get to see why he uses a certain club, what pitch, what direction, what he eat. I get to everything for Tiger Woods for 2 days. I get to practice with him. I get to do it live with him. Who's going to have a better chance at our golf contest at the end of 2 days? Me or you guys?
You have no question.
Okay. And here's conference. Conference is not just Tiger Woods. Conference is the entire PGA Tour. You get
That's such
the
a good
top
illustration.
producer. You get the top builders. You get the top. In the lane that you want, you have actual access to be able to talk to these people. And it's not by video. It's not by canned questions. You get to run into people and say, hey, how do I do it? Who's going to have a better shot at achieving what they want for a goal and a dream, right? There is no other option. We go. See
And
how, I don't know, that just gave you two
mm,
because
well, just to add on that, the other thing that I really got from it was I was looking at the other people doing it, and I was like, they're not superhuman. Like they're a human being too. Like I can go do that. Like it gave me a really strong belief as well.
you say that. And here's the first thing I thought. They look at me when I'm on stage. I'm like, dude, if this dude can accomplish that, I know I could do. That's exactly. So here, no, I agree. I agree. Don't you see that? Man, there's so much average going from average to supernatural like results. You're like, what do these people have? And you know what? I also realize that people that are still on the fence, if you could go to a 2 day event and you just know whether it's for you or not, would it be worth going to a 2 day event? Don't
Save yourself 6 months of headache, like, you
right?
know?
Don't you want that for them? Right? So that's the reference I use for getting. And here's the thing. I am a collective of, I didn't even talk to my people who invited me to the event. You know what they saw me doing? Bouncing around, talking to everyone else. That was my opportunity to connect the things that were important to me. And I want to see if I want to know other people can do this like me. That wants more
Yeah,
time with their kids like me. That wants to make time and money like me. I want to know that people that had no education, they're multi. Oh my, how did you do that? What are you read? It gave me an opportunity to really be able to have that one-on-one and to get perspective, because isn't that what this is about? And I just want to open up more of chances for myself to believe a little bit more in me. So anyway, conference is not listen, and this goes
no
back to
brainer.
like who gets my time. Like
Yeah,
if you're not willing to be around the best to get what you want out of this, then me spending time, that's not fair to you. I can't show you how to write $100,000 a month. I've never done it. I That's not fair. That's not fair to you. I'm not going to do that. So I make sure people are in the best position to get what they want. And selfishly, I know better. I like that. I know better. I know you don't get capped by me. I know that. I want you around the best so you can determine what's best for you, not me, you.
Mm.
yeah. I'm so glad you said that because in Denver, I for the first time, I had 10 people at the event, and I was, like, almost feeling like I was getting pulled in 50 different directions. I'm like, "I wanna make sure they're having a good time, and they're getting what they need," and they're following me around, and, I think it was Michael Matthews, actually. He was like, "Dude, that's not on you." Which was he was like, "This you need to be selfish about this, and, like, you're here to get to the next level, so you need to go talk to people who are there, and you're gonna know very quickly, like, if they're just trying to follow you around the whole time, like, let them know, 'Hey, we're here so that you aren't their everything.'" And that was something I really struggled with the first 24 hours or
Me
so.
too. Me too. You know what I realized? In order to be selfless, I had to be selfish first. And what I had to do is when I went to those events, what people duplicate behavior. So what people saw me do is they saw me taking notes and things. What they saw me do is the fact that I had the 10 people. When I walk in a conference, I know what I want to accomplish. I know who my quote unquote target list is that I want to learn from or I want additional question for. And I know who I want to talk to because I walk in with intentionality because I want to take the opportunity to get the most out of this too. And so I give them that same opportunity. What is it that you want? And then matching, whether it's breakouts, so getting the training or whatever it is on who that I would say is the closest to what you're looking for. And not because I'm going to call them and tell them that you're going to talk. I'm just telling you who to go track down,
Right.
and then they see you doing that. And what people see is the fact that you're inspiring to become more because it keeps the momentum, and the power of the momentum is, do you guys know in the story, the Big Mo, right? You get a train that goes 55 miles an hour and it'll bust through a 6-foot steel enforced wall. But if that train is stopped, a 6-inch brick will stop it from ever going. So I want people that are wanting more for them. Like, if they're happy with their thing, then I guess they don't want to grow. That's up to them. But in order for me to help people achieve more, I'm going to become more. I'm going to
Mm,
go through my challenges and my failures, and I want to go quit. And listen, I still make mistakes. My team damn well knows I make mistakes all the time, but I'm very obvious about it because people already see it. People see
Mm.
it. So I love it,
Hmm.
man.
So we got to land this plane here soon. I don't want to keep you all afternoon. I'm gonna get. Oh, I got.
I totally forgot we're even on. I was just chatting.
I know you got a lot
I
going
love
on.
it.
So I
It was
mean,
just a
we
conversation. I love this.
we could keep going all
Yeah.
afternoon, man.
Yeah.
I got two kind of rapid fire questions for you. Because I know you're huge on personal development. You got a shelf full of books behind you and all the trophies to show the mile markers of where personal development got you. So, first
Yeah.
question is, what are you reading right now? Second question is, I want to know what your miracle morning routine is.
Okay. Oh, I love this. All right. So that's what we're reading right now.
John
Oh my
Maxwell,
God, so
can't go
good.
wrong.
Can't
Can't
go
go wrong.
wrong. We just
Charismatic leader,
yeah, yeah.
Todd Henry.
Got
Yup.
this one out. And there's a few that are, and I'll talk about if you're building an agency. I always keep coming back to this one. This is like just, and I say this because, man, foundationally, don't we all just need one more, like one, you can't, sometimes a dream's so big, people cannot put their hands on that. And this is where the connection to the miracle morning. I was never a reader, ever, ever. Doorstop for books. People send me books and I'm like, oh, we'll leave it over here to line things. Never. And then what I realized in this business is that the analogy is if you wake up in the morning and you have 20% on your phone and you guys have to plug in a 4 hours of Zoom, how fast is your phone going to die?
Super fast.
Unbelievably fast, right? So the objective is your morning needs to be so charged. You got to have a full charge. You know why? Every single person gets discharged by different things. Family and family jumps in. Hey, I can't dial. Hey, this chargeback happened. Oh my God. Like how hard dialing, booking appointments, anxiety. I don't want to say like there's some things that take more energy out of you, right? And I realized that if I don't start with being the very best, because I know life is going to happen. Things happen all the time. Chargebacks, disappointments, no's, challenges. That's life. And so what can I do? I need to know if I'm just absorbing all these hits and something like for you on here that are listening, if you're in a spot where a $35 overage charge is knocking you out for life for 3 weeks, we need to charge your mindset to the point where you're already putting yourself in a millionaire's mindset. So that stuff, because the bigger you get, that's not the question if the challenges that people like Edward Pritchett get, or Brad Smith gets, or the owners get, or what I get. People are like, "There's no way. How can you do it?" So what does a morning look like? I realized I had to charge. So this is if you're brand new to development, this is what I would do, and I'll tell you what my routine is. When I
I'm writing it
first got
down.
in, I hated development, hated reading. So what I did is my mentor Rob told me, "Hey, pick a motivational video online and pick a subject. Battling fear." And say battling fear, motivational video, and watch a 10-minute motivational video. That's all you, and just get used to doing that every morning. Pick a subject, you can put motivational videos just on YouTube. Easy thing to do. You go from motivational videos because you're trying to create a habit, right? What you're trying to do is create the words that you're thinking, like the thinking stuff, to now what you're verbally saying. And then when you change what you're saying, the actions are going to change, your habits change, your character changes, everything changes. You go from video to picking up a book. It could be, and this is the easiest thing to do, especially when you're in a team environment like cycling. Have you ever been in a cycling class and you're the only one in there and they're like, all right, time to get up from the bike? Oh, no, I'm not getting up. You sit down. Well, what happens if you're in a class and you got 100 butts out of the seat and you're the only one sitting down? You're going to go, whoop, I'm up. I'm not. No. So I put myself in an environment. So if your team has a book, you pick up that book, you read 10 pages or 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes, 10 pages that day. And then journaling. I hated journaling. Getting those thoughts down and scribing. I hated all that. Exercising. Are you kidding me? If you saw a picture of me during my AO run, woo, 255, 260, because stress eat. So in the morning time, I had to get my blood flowing. Walk for 10 minutes, pick something out. My morning routine every single morning, a glass of water to start off for the day. I get on a walk, a run, a Peloton, a treadmill. I have a 2 hour routine between exercising, reading, journaling. And the reason why 2 hours in the West Coast, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Some people are not miracle morning people. They want to be miracle afternoon. They don't. Okay, let's be. So I'm like, I don't care. But when you wake up, the first thing you need to do before you make deposits, this includes single parents, the first thing you do is you end up giving, don't you? Like, you got to give to your kid. You got to get them set up for school. You just give. You're making deposits before you even made deposits in you. You started making deposits in somebody else. How is that? You got to be charged. You got to take care of you first. So start off with 15 minutes earlier than what your kids normally get up. Do 30 minutes earlier and just practice it in small routine where it's just you. It's not the phone, it's not the technology. Maybe it's just meditation because you don't like scribing. Like, you just need to make sure that the first person that receives is you,
Mm,
because you have to be good. Now, you ready? This is a big one for Miracle Morning. Challenges happen, illnesses happen. Miranda Martin had no idea she got this immune disease and she was running 25%. She was outperforming our entire agency on her bed while she's back and forth in the hospital for an entire year. And I go, how can you do this? You know what she said to me? When more stuff comes, it means I need to make sure I'm more charged in the morning. That means I don't do the same routine every day. Sometimes I feel worse. So what do? I got a big thing happens. I need to double down. Maybe not 30 minutes. Maybe I do 45. Maybe I do an hour. It's not the same thing every day, because sometimes there's things that happen every day. And if you still do self-development and you're still feeling negative before the day starts, the morning routine is a big one.
mm, so good. So good. Well, I got nothing for you else, Ryan. Xander, you got any last minute questions, dude, before we land this plane?
Well, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this because there have been
Yeah.
so many nuggets. But for anyone in the audience who is watching it, I mean, Ryan, I can feel your heart through the screen, man. I would imagine there are gonna be some people who are like, "Holy smokes, I would like to work with this gentleman." If that's them, how do they get in touch with you? We want to make sure that we can funnel them towards you.
Yeah, what's your Instagram, dude?
Instagram, it's the Ryan P. Miller.
Simple enough. The
Simple
Ryan
enough.
P. Miller
Yeah, that's it. That's how you find me. And
or
man,
at
and
Ignite.
that's crazy. You're talking about working with me. This is just, I know this. You're like, this is me. To me, when you're around so many amazing people like you guys, and when you're around such a great environment, you're not going to go wrong no matter where you go when you're around such amazing people. So, like, you guys, thank you for continuing to make an impact on people's lives. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Dude,
you.
this has been one of my favorite episodes. Your story's impactful. So much wisdom about recruiting, leading people, what to focus on, how to charge your own batteries. It's a lot. And I got a full page of notes. I'll probably have another 2 or 3 pages once I re-listen to this. But this was a good one, man. Thank you so much for giving up your time today.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Awesome. Well, with that, we'll see you guys next Friday. Get out there, go help protect some families. Have a great weekend. See you next time.
See ya.
Peace.